What you think, Fred? All right.
Fred.
Like, dude, you're an idiot.
I'm doing very well, Jen. Is it just going to be me and you, or Eli and Zach going to pop in?
Yeah, they'll talk every once in a while. But
Every now and then we'll kind of
he was already here right away.
It kind of, well, we're used to you attacking us, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look at
Let's just put it this way. Who do you see as the quarterback week 1 for the Green Bay Packers?
I see.
Welcome
The
back.
end of that clip is actually accurate again.
Yeah, it will be brought back. It will be brought back. Yeah,
Whoops.
everyone, we're back. We are back for another very fun episode of Open Book here on Game On Wisconsin. And this is one, yeah, I've definitely been looking forward to doing. Thought we'd be doing it in, 3 weeks about. But instead we're doing it now, which is really exciting. Really pleased with the whole situation. But yeah, I am happy to be back with you guys. Feel like it brings back some. What's going on, Chris? Thanks for coming in. Today's not Wednesday. I thought it was, but I'm not good with days. True North Packer fan. But yeah, I don't know how you guys have been coping over the last 5-6 days. It's been weird. It's honestly, I don't feel like I haven't fully processed the whole situation. So let's see how you guys are doing, and maybe by then I'll have processed it. So Jen, how have you been since late Saturday night?
Been kind of like hitting every stage of grief multiple times. I work with Vikings fans, so it was like I had Monday off, which was nice. I had an extra day to cope. But Tuesday morning, I'm like walking kind of, I know the 2 coworkers that I need to avoid. They were also my teachers like 10 plus years ago, so they've known me for a long time. And they see me and they're like, Mackie, come here, and call me over and kind of like drag my feet. And it's been a week, but it is what it is. At least we have a coach and everything like that. So, I mean, they do now, but I don't know, trying to look on the positives, but no, it's rough. And I don't have like people around me except for my parents to cope with. So go to work, avoid people. But I wore my Packers gear with pride because win or lose, I love them. But I don't know. I can probably I'm just whatever, sad.
Yeah, I'm with you on that way. But did you just say the Vikings had a head coach? Did I completely miss something?
I think I meant general manager, not head coach. But
yeah,
they didn't have either at the beginning of the week.
Yeah, that is true.
So they can't make fun of us too much.
I would have just ignored anyone. Wow. It is not my fault. I even wore my good luck shirt throughout the whole show, even the whole game, even though there's a huge rip in it. And I was very uncomfortable and it looked weird, but I got to keep it going. And now, obviously, that shirt will be retired. It was the I still own you shirt. But now it just brings me sadness. So I will not wear that for a little bit. Zach, how have you been the last week-ish?
The last 8 times this has happened, I feel like more so like the last few. I feel like there was like a sense of like numbness. You know what I mean? Where like nothing is phasing you at this point. And kind of in the back of your mind, no matter how heavily favored the Packers were to win that game, I feel like in the back of your mind, you kind of knew something could have gone wrong, especially when you see after that first drive how beautiful it looked, and then they didn't do anything after that. That Mercedes Lewis fumble, such an anomaly of a play. I mean, it happened once this season, but still, once that happened, you just kind of like you had like a pit in your stomach. I feel like we're like, okay, they're not going to beat the 49ers by 20 points. There's a chance that this actually is a lot closer. And then some other things happened throughout the course of the game. The blocked punt, the 49ers got them back into it. And then you're like, oh shit, okay, this could actually be a team the Packers lose to. They actually might end up first round exits by the 49ers for the 4th time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be that guy, but there is like a sense of numbness where like, there's like And once I started doing this for work a few years back, that emotional tie to the team as a fan kind of like took a back seat, and I don't know, I figured out a way to kind of like manage it and kind of just cope without actually coping. So like this doesn't really like hurt me. Like I'm not going through the ringer or anything like that. It's more so shocking than anything. You're trying to figure out a way to like kind of like grasp how the hell that happened. I mean, I've watched the game 3 times since Saturday.
You like to torture yourself, Zach, so that's no surprise by me.
No, I do. I'm a sick son of a bitch, and I've tried telling you guys that. You know, I've also watched the Seattle collapse
I know.
so many freaking times.
I was hoping you wouldn't have said that because I've yet to watch it. I actually saw some clips of it because I was actually in Chicago for the game, and I feel like that helped cope with the situation. I was around family. If I was here in my place where I live alone, probably would have been a real dark time, honestly, a little bit. But I was around family, some other stuff going on, so that did help. And yeah, but like you said, Zach, I feel like kind of similar where I just felt like this numbness where it was just like I didn't really have an immediate reaction. You know, I watched the game with my dad and my brothers, and they were all, you know, like emotional and yelling and screaming this, that. And I was just kind of standing there. And I don't know, you know, for me, and I think already last year, like after the 2019 championship game versus the Niners, I kind of just told myself, like, all right, that was the 2019. I was like, that's it. Like, until we're there in the Super Bowl and like really going for it all, like I can't put myself in that situation to really believe it's going to happen. And as much as this year felt like the year, because it really did, at least in my opinion, feel like the year that it would be different. But still, like you said, I mean, that first drive was great and it was amazing. And kind of the second Mercedes fumbled that ball, I was like, okay, maybe let's you know, realize what's potentially going to happen. And we had some close games to end the year, the Ravens game, the Browns game, that you kind of felt that you kind of felt like, okay, it's closer than it should be. It's stressful, but they're going to pull this out. But during that game, it was like we had so many chances to pull away and it never happened, that I was like, okay, I don't have that feeling where it's like, all right, even if it's close, at the end, they're going to pull it out. It's going to be okay. I just had this feeling where it's like, I just felt something where it just in my chest, I was like, I cannot just go and feel like, okay, we got this. Like I needed it to just end. And yeah, it did not end. And obviously, I think, I mean, especially like once that punt happened, like once the block punt happened, that was when I was like, okay, this is not meant to be, because that's just not what winning teams do in the playoffs, giving up block punt for touchdowns. So it was rough, but
that was the weird part too. Like you kind of mentioned, like everything that went wrong, all of the weird stuff, the Mercedes Lewis fumble, how rare that was, like everything that was possibly going wrong, you still had like the sense that they're still gonna win this. They'll still do something to kind of, you know, squeak by the 49ers. They shouldn't have to squeak by, but they'll still manage. They'll still get away by the skin of their teeth. They'll be playing next weekend. Yeah. But it never happened. And like you said, they had multiple opportunities to win that game. You can blame the special teams, blame Mo Drayton, blame the long snapper, blame whoever the hell you want, blame whoever the hell was out there on the field goal formation, whatever you want to do. But the reality is the Packers won 13 games in spite of their special teams. They've had terrible special teams for most of the last 2 decades, and they have made the playoffs. They won a Super Bowl. They're in the mix every single year. And when you have, I'm not slandering Aaron Rodgers, Eli, so don't kill me. When you have the reigning MVP, now likely to be a back-to-back MVP, you expect him to put up more than 10 points. You expect him to make some of the critical plays in the playoffs that he hasn't made the last couple of years at home. And when everyone's talking, I'm not going to rip off my own Twitter or anything like that, but for everybody that's like talking about, even he said it himself, you know, they need to get one of these home playoff games or the home NFC championship. They need to be at home, and it's going to be a whole different story. Nobody wants to come to Lambeau and play in the cold and this and that and all that bullshit. Last 2 years, NFC championship game, lost. this year, lost to the 49ers. So that there is no like advantage of that home field advantage anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm kind of starting to think the Packers should be better as like a 6-7 seed going in as an underdog. No eyes on them, no added pressure of needing to meet anyone's expectations. Sneak their way in, and I mean, that just feels better.
Yeah, it really does. It obviously you want that bye week, and especially because there were so many injuries. So this year felt like we needed even more.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that thing where it's like, you know what, when you're the top dog and everyone's coming after you, it's a different feeling. And there's kind of, like you said, that added pressure of like, we're, you know, the best team in the NFL, the best team for sure in the NFC, and we have these expectations to meet. And all of a sudden it just kind of hits you in the face when everyone's goal is, okay, we got to take down the Packers. It is a different thing. And it's kind of like what Rodgers said, you know, a few weeks ago, on McAfee, where it was like, you know, we either play at home in Lambeau Field or you have to go on the road and play against, you know, the Green Bay Packers, or however he said it. I know I paraphrased that, but people always seem to want to take down the Packers, whether it's because of Rodgers or because of how good we've consistently been, or Green Bay, the history behind it. But there is that feeling that no matter who they face, whether it's in week one or in the playoffs, there's like an added intensity from the opposing team where it's like, we really want to take down this team. And I feel like it would be a little bit less if you were, forget even a 5 or 6 seed as a wild card team, even if you win the NFC North, but you're in the, you know, you're a 3 or 4 seed, it's probably still a little bit less than being the 1 seed and all that. So that was tough. But I mean, just talking about that game, and I mean, it's hard because like you could point obviously at special teams pretty easily, but Jen, I mean, at the end of it now, you know, 5 days later, looking back and all that, what is like, whether it was a turning point in the game, one unit, one player, what was it for you that was like the real, the dagger, but in the bad way for the Packers?
I mean, it was really early, but it really felt like momentum with the big dog fumble. It just kind of skewed things. And it's like, that's not a guy who goes out and makes mistakes like that. So that was just really bizarre. And at the time, I wasn't like, I don't think I could ever get upset at big dog for anything. So it was like one of those things where it's like, I feel like I need to be really upset, but I couldn't be because of just who he is. And then, you know, obviously special teams was a blunder, of course, which I feel like we knew all year that something bad was going to happen, and it was catastrophic. And it's really unfortunate that there's about a 10-point swing because of them. So that really kills it. And then obviously offense is struggling, and Dylan getting hurt right away at the beginning of the second. He took a knee from Burks on special teams. So it's like when Rodgers isn't having his best day, you take out one of those best offensive pieces when, you know, the air game isn't there. And that's really frustrating. And obviously not knocking Jones in that way, but I don't know, that just feels like the kind of day, I think I said it last week, where it was supposed to be a Dylan kind of day when it's January, cold, night game, or no, not night game, whatever. Yeah, it was a night game at Lamp. So it's cold, and I don't know, that kind of just takes away another huge piece. And I said it last week as well. I felt like if somebody wasn't going to play, whether it was Bakhtiari or Billy Turner, that Yash should be on the line, and he wasn't. So I really hate that I was right about that, but I was right. And, you know, I don't think Dennis Kelly is somebody who should have been out there. And if anything, maybe I don't know if Billy Turner just, I don't know, with, you know, coming back after not playing for a while, is he up to game speed? So I think they could have worked Yash either, if you want Billy Turner at left tackle for sure, could have worked Yash in at right tackle. You had 2 weeks to do it and prepare for that. So that kind of just feels like something that might be one of those coaching mistakes that we don't see a lot with the offensive line. So I think there's a lot of coaching stuff that happened too. And, you know, it's just all those really little things that turn into what that game was. And yeah, obviously it hurts when Aaron Rodgers isn't having his best day. And I think not having MVS is huge too, because that takes away a huge deep threat. And it's just, you know, one less person that they have to worry about covering. And when you're zoning in on Devontae, yeah, like there's a lot of times where that works and he can make miraculous plays and catches in double coverage, but this wasn't a game where that was working. And I think he just kind of relied too much on him. And it's really hard when, you know, there's guys who are maybe making errors, especially in that tight end group, who maybe didn't have their best day. And when you don't have really that true tight end like you do with Tunyon, who we lost a while ago, that really hurts. So there's just a lot of pieces, but those are also things that they knew going into this game that they weren't going to have, or that they were going to have to fix or work around. So I think, yeah, it's a lot on the players for not executing, but I think there's a lot behind the scenes that the coaches could have done better too. And then, you know, when it's all said and done, most of the times, I think what hurts the most and kind of what stings at the end of this season is that we didn't get that storybook finish. And for the first time in a while, we're kind of unsure if we'll be able to say there's always next year, because we've been able to say that for as long as we've known we've had Aaron Rodgers. And now we're going into the season kind of blindfolded, really unsure of what's going to happen. So we can't guarantee that we can say there's always next year, because we don't know if there will be. We already lost Nathaniel Hackett, which is huge. So who knows who else will lose? There's a lot of guys that they would need to sign. And I know Matt LaFleur looks at Russ Ball like he's a god. And I mean, he might be, but it's going to be a very different team. And we really have no idea what next season is going to be like. So I think that's what really sucks the most, is that this was supposed to be the year. You know, you get Randall Cobb back, all these guys who deserve a Super Bowl get their Super Bowl ring. And I don't know, I feel a lot for the guys who deserve it. And I think that's what's tough. Like, as a fan, you know, obviously I care a lot. You know, I love the game. I love this team. But there's a lot of guys who weren't ready for it to be over, who deserved to be playing this upcoming weekend and aren't. So that's really tough, just kind of thinking about the players as people in that way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. And I think a big part of it, and something I was going to bring up next, was that offensive line grouping, which to me didn't make a lot of sense. And a big thing was Matt LaFleur saying that prior to the game, Billy Turner, he didn't practice at all at left tackle leading up to the game because they were expecting Bakhtiari. So number one, that's strange anyway. You're dealing with someone who's injured. He played in week 18, I should say, and came off and on and didn't really seem fully healthy. So at the very least, Turner should have had some snaps at left tackle, but I don't even think Turner was the problem. I think the problem was Kelly at right tackle trying to block Nick Bosa. But I just don't understand why, when Billy Turner was so solid at right tackle, just all year long, was incredible. And Yash had a very good season when he was playing out there at left tackle. Why they decided to go with that pairing made no sense to me. Why they put Kelly at right tackle, Turner at left. Zach,
it's tough when, you know, you see that Bakhtiari isn't going to be playing and you're like, that doesn't matter because we have Yash.
Exactly.
And then
yeah, that's
him to not play. I thought he earned that position. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, Dennis Kelly was just kind of filler until somebody came back, but I don't know. It's just frustrating in his perspective. Like, he worked really hard and earned that, and he had to just sit there and watch it all kind of go down the drain.
Yeah, when I saw Bakhtiari inactive, my assumption was, okay, Yasha left tackle, Billy Turner at right. It didn't make sense to me. And then honestly, even by the end of the first half, or even midway through the third quarter, there was a lot of pressure coming from the right side of the line. I thought LaFleur could have made adjustments mid-game that didn't happen by making that switch. Zach, what was your thoughts about the initial pairing? And then throughout the game, would you have made a switch potentially? Would you have kept it? What were your thoughts?
Oh, I fucking hated it.
Thank you.
We finally all agree on something.
Yeah, about time. It only took us, like a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was very vocal about that before the game. Once I saw, they were warming up with that combination, I was like, Billy Turner, he's played 219 career snaps at left tackle with the Packers. I shouldn't say career, but with the Packers, 219, and he hasn't done it since 2020, when Bakhtiari was actually injured. So it was odd to take a guy out of a spot where he had played for 3 months up until his knee injury against the Bears at right tackle.
Played it well.
And played it very well. And in fairness to Dennis Kelly too, like I get it, he's like, he's kind of like the odd man out here. He played well the last few games in replacing Billy Turner. He was really well. You couldn't tell that he was there, similar to how Josh Nijman played at left tackle. So, but you have a guy like Billy Turner who was playing so goddamn well at right tackle, but before he got hurt, and he's available to you now, so you can kind of go back to at least a little bit of normalcy on your offensive line, and you keep Dennis Kelly there. And I don't know. It worked out about as well as we thought we would, because Dennis Kelly led the team in pressures given up. He had 5, and it was like more than double the next closest guy. I think the next closest was like 2. So he was getting his ass beaten, and you don't need Pro Football Focus to tell you that, because you can watch the game and you see Nick Bosa was having his way with Dennis Kelly, and Aaron Rodgers was constantly stepping up in the pocket and leaving to his right. He was constantly off platform, and he even said so himself that they got him off the spot and they took away a lot of what they were trying to do. So, when you do that, it completely throws off the rhythm, whatever semblance of rhythm was there in the offense at the beginning. And I didn't understand it. And my thinking too at the beginning was like, okay, and I even told someone this: if this goes south, it doesn't, if Dennis Kelly doesn't really work out that well, and you want to make a change, you at least have Josh Nijman to fall back on. You can take him, put him back in at Rodgers' blind side, bump Billy Turner out to the right tackle position, and bench Dennis Kelly. You always have that option available to you during the game, and the Packers never went to it. They never made that adjustment. It was just really perplexing. And I think that was also a big reason why Rodgers maybe never settled in, why he was so fixated on Davante Adams. And I also want to say, too, someone said in the comments that having MVS wouldn't have made a difference because Aaron Rodgers was so fixated on Davante Adams. The Packers had a clear plan to go after, to go after Davante Adams. And the 49ers had one to combat that, because they knew he would. They knew that's his guy, and he loves force feeding him. And the 49ers had a plan for that, and they countered it well. But you still have MVS. You still have this speedy component that, whether or not he's getting the ball, whether he's finishing with 1 target, 0 catches, or he has like 11 targets and 4 catches, whatever it is, it's still an element of that offense that they have to account for, that the 49ers have to account for. That's still your deep play threat, a guy that can take literally any goddamn moment he wants. He can take the top off of a secondary. And that's still somebody the 49ers have to account for, whether he's there, whether he's involved or not. He could be a decoy.
Even having MVS can open up Lazard a little bit more, because they're focusing on, Tay and MVS, and then you have options with Lazard. And maybe it just, thank you, Jacob, for saying something smart.
He's loving
and it's just when you lose a piece, and MVS has really developed into like a number 2, arguably, like a 2A, 2B kind of guy. And I mean, just not having to worry about his speed, that's huge for the 49ers defense. So it's really frustrating. Like, maybe he wouldn't have got targets. We will never, ever know. But I do think that it changes the game when you lose pieces like that. So regardless if he would have been targeted or not, it's definitely hurting you to not have him, because I think he had a phenomenal season, and he really opens up the deep threat and also takes a little bit of pressure off Davante. So I don't know. We can play the what if game all day. It doesn't change anything. We're all just sad anyways.
But here's the other side of that. Yeah, they don't have MVS. Yeah, there was a plan to pay attention to Davante Adams and get him the ball and force feed him. But Aaron Rodgers, he had multiple guys open. Not just on that last deep ball in the double coverage that everyone's kind of paying attention to right now, where Lazard's coming across the middle. Not just that play. He had outlets. Like the way this offense is, they have outlets underneath for him to get the ball out. Those checkdowns. Those were all available to him on Saturday. Those were all there. He didn't see them.
I think we saw it in the first half with Aaron Jones a lot. We saw that all that receiving from Aaron Jones, and then in the second half it was never used.
Yeah, it was all there available to him, and he did not. He reverted back to that hero ball, Aaron Rodgers, the guy who's always trying to make a big play, look for the deep bomb. He didn't have the wherewithal to look for his checkdowns, I feel like. Maybe he did, and he just bypassed them completely because he wanted to make a big play in the playoffs. I don't know. But
I felt like we were watching almost like a Mike McCarthy offense where you didn't have that option where I kept saying on this show and in the past before, where you're looking at, the Patriots' old offense when Brady was there, and now the Bucks, I guess, or the Saints or the Chargers, where you see so many checkdowns. And I know maybe it's boring and it's not fun for a quarterback, but too bad. If you're getting 5+ yards every time you check it down to Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon or a tight end, whatever it is, that's 5+ yards. If you're throwing the ball on 1st and 10 and you can go and get 5 yards because you threw a little curl route 2 yards down the field to Aaron Jones and he could turn upfield and go for 5 yards, boom, it's 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, whatever it is. That's positive yards. And that is one thing for sure that I will say. And again, it pains me to ever, speak negatively about Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. No, I will say that his clear fixation on Davante throughout the game was a huge part of it. Will I say he is, or that specific part was the reason they lost? No, because I think losing 10 points on special teams and losing the game by 3, in my opinion, is a bigger reason why they actually lost. But there's no doubt that with Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard, I think combining for 1 catch and like 3 targets or whatever it was, that's just unacceptable. Because like you said, it wasn't just on the last play. Yes, we all know Alan Lazard was open on the last play, but there were plays before that where guys were open, and hell, there was even plays where I saw Davante open and the ball went elsewhere, and it was like, or he was running around and ended up getting sacked. But I do think what you said, Zach, is very true, that because early on he felt pretty immediate pressure from that right side of the line, he kind of just went, okay, where's Davante? Where's Davante? Where's Davante? And almost every single play, because he didn't want to wait for anyone else to get open. Because we know, Alan Lazard isn't necessarily burning anybody off the line. Randall Cobb, he's a good route runner. He's not necessarily the fastest guy in the world and all that. But the fact that I think we had 1 receiver catch a football outside of Davante Adams at the end of 4 quarters in the playoffs is absurd to me. And it was frustrating. But you go and you see a big drop, by Josiah DeGuara. Yes, it was a sliding play, but that was a huge play. That was like a 15, 20-yard gain at a key point in the game. And yeah, he had to go down for it. The bottom line, it hit you right in the chest. Hit him right in the chest, and it just slid right through. And that was a huge part of the game. The Mercedes play was a huge part of the game. But another big part of the game that I feel like was talked about a bit, but not a ton, honestly, was Aaron Jones right before half and his decision to charge directly at the defender as opposed to either playing the sidelines and getting out of bounds or, I mean, whatever. I don't know. I guess he didn't have the speed to beat them. I mean, he had when he caught that ball, he had 15 to 20 yards on everyone on the field. So I really didn't think he should have even been caught. I thought he could have scored on that play. But if you're not going to score, when you have 1 timeout right before half, you play the sidelines, you get as far as you possibly can, and you get out of bounds. And then even if Rodgers took that sack that he took on the following play, you don't have to go and spike the ball with 3 seconds and then kick a field goal that we all obviously know got blocked. You call the timeout after the sack, and then you still have a couple shots at the end zone. I don't understand I don't know, maybe Aaron Jones thought they had more timeouts. Maybe he thought he could have beat him. It made no sense to me.
It seemed very uncharacteristic of him to kind of cut back the way he did instead of just, the end zone's right there to at least, try to take the angle towards the pylon. So either you get in or you go out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed very odd. He just kind of got caught up in the moment and overthink it a little bit. And
yeah,
I don't know. I think we could say that for a lot of the guys on the team. But yeah, I mean, that play, it's not I don't know how much it changes it. I mean, obviously, if he finds the end zone, that's huge. But yeah, I thought that he had good speed and good stride on that run. So it was just really confusing the way he kind of slowed down, cut back, didn't know if he was going to try and get around that guy and maybe head towards the middle of the end zone. I don't know the thoughts that were going through his mind, but I just feel like, I don't know. I'm not a running back, but I just feel like maybe there were different options that he could have taken to better utilize his run. And then obviously, like you said, Eli, it didn't end in a very positive way, such a huge play that ends with 0 points on the board when you're in the red zone right there. It's just frustrating. I mean, don't want to blame Aaron Jones for that because at the time we didn't realize it was going to maybe be a game-changing play, but I think that there was opportunity to set up the offense a little better. But I mean, we don't know what he was seeing from his angle on the field, so I don't know. We're watching it from our couch and he's seeing it right there in front of him, so it's hard to say kind of maybe what was the best decision, but for all we know, he's already kicking himself for it, and we don't need to blast him too much.
No, I think he got caught like almost like mentally, where he was like, I'm about to cut back, and then he realized he didn't have the cutback lane, and then it was too late. Like, and also I think the weather and the field was probably, wet and slicker than usual. Like, I feel like he probably could have made a sharper cut towards the middle of the field and then maybe have scored. But I think he started cutting, didn't have the footing, and then all of a sudden was just caught in no man's land where he was just stuck. But Zach, what did you see on that?
I was going to say, I see Zach's wheels turning like he has something to say.
Well, first of all, Brandon, we love you too. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Brandon.
No, I think your mentality as a player, and especially at a skill position, is to score every time you touch the ball, especially when you have a wide open field in front of you. So I understand I'm assuming what his thinking was. It was to, like you guys kind of alluded to weave between those two defenders. He had the whole left side of the field to work with to make it to the end zone in time. Maybe he underestimated the slickness of the turf. Maybe he underestimated, like Eli said, how much space he had. It also didn't help that he was kind of off balance when he adjusted to catch that football. I don't know if he was able to catch it in stride. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers put it in a good enough spot, or he's just not at that point as like a natural receiver. Who knows? But I feel like if that ball kind of hits him and he catches it in stride, then he's gone. And yeah, Greg Jennings actually would have put the team on his back. Yeah, with a broken fucking leg, he would have made it. It wouldn't have mattered. But
I do think we need to point out. Last week, we yelled at Zach for shaving the playoff beard.
Zach, you bastard.
So we already yelled at him for that, and look what happened.
You don't shave before the playoffs, okay? That is
look, I was sick. I had COVID. I was having like a crisis. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be back at work for a few days. Screw it. I'm going to shave my face.
Yeah,
right before playoffs. Unbelievable.
The Packers were the last thing I was thinking of because I don't believe in jinxes like you freaks.
Well, you should. Look what you did.
Just saying.
That block punt never would have happened if you had your beard.
Yeah, the Packers should never be the last thing you're thinking about, okay? You could wake up in the morning and brush your teeth. It still shouldn't be the last thing you're thinking about. It should be one of the first things you're thinking about.
Look, if it'll make you feel better, Eli, if it'll make you feel better, Jen, if it'll make you feel better, Brandon, everybody, I will take responsibility for this. You can put this on me, all right? 100%. It's on me.
Thank God. I'll let people know so they can stop angrily tweeting, arguing whether it was Rodgers or special teams. It was Zach.
Yeah, it was me. Yes, it was this. So now you have to find 8 other excuses for the 8 other playoff losses in the last decade.
Zach, you like to just go below the belt and really just be brutal about everything.
You guys went below the belt. I got to defend myself. I'm one man. I am one man.
Hey, so far, I'm the only one who hasn't been blamed for this loss. So,
we can find ways to blame you. Trust me.
Yeah.
No, the chat earlier blamed Eli. Zach shaved his playoff beard.
And you eat pickles wrapped in ham and cream cheese.
I didn't have them on game day though, so you can't blame that.
You should have done it. You should have stuck by your brand.
Oh no, something I ate like 2 months ago. God forbid.
Yeah, you should have had your Jordy Nelson jersey on with a crap ton of ham, pickles, and cream cheese. I had
my go-to, my Jordy sweatshirt with the Rodgers jersey. That's been like a go-to outfit. It's like all reliable, and even that couldn't help.
You know what the problem was? Honestly, it probably is my. Yes, Mariah, I haven't blamed you for the loss because truth is, we've been winning a lot this year, and I actually thank Mariah for that because I think it's mostly due to her. And this was the first game.
Get a room.
This was the first game this year that I actually watched with my brothers and my dad. The first game the whole year I watched in Chicago. So maybe it's on me. Maybe because I left my place here in Los Angeles and I went back to Chicago. It could be on me. I went to Bear territory. So this one might be on me, to be honest.
Can't believe you guys. I work with
One-
traders.
Ew.
Thanks, I guess.
Hey, one person that's deflecting blame here is Andrew. He can't just sit in silence in the background while we take all the shit. Okay.
We're sticking to silence. All right. We all
Yeah.
know. Andrew, it's your fault.
I can do no wrong. I can do no wrong.
Yeah, we gotta blame
my
him.
fault.
This is
To be fair, though, I was not shocked. Like when Robbie Gold got up to the kick, I was literally like getting my clothes on for work because I was like, well, this shit's done.
Yeah.
It's like they're talking like, well, it is pretty cold out there. And I'm like, dude, you realize who Robbie Gold played for before San Francisco, right?
I feel like
Yeah.
so
I was
many
like, he is
kickers-
well accustomed to these
Yeah.
situations in this
We
weather.
probably could have faced any other team in the NFC, and I would have felt 1,000 times more confident they would miss it. But I had zero belief in my brain that Gold was missing that kick.
Yeah, no. Not
and
at
I'm
all.
pretty sure he's been in the
Not
league longer than Mason Crosby. I think
Yeah.
he came in the league
Yeah, I
in
think so.
2005 or something. So he's been doing this for a goddamn long time. So there was no way in hell he was going to miss that kick.
To lighten the mood for just a second, can we all laugh at the Bears for letting Robbie Gold leave? And then when he wanted to come back, they still wouldn't take him because of the money, whatever it was. So let's just laugh at the Bears for a minute to try to take the pain away.
Oh no, but they just won their Super Bowl, Eli. We can't take that away from them.
Oh yeah, they won their Super Bowl from their
I literally
couch.
had people saying that, like, we just won our Super Bowl. It's like, that's really sad
Yeah,
that your
is
standards
sad
are so low for your own team that,
Yeah.
yikes.
What's
I
nice
mean,
is that
Good
no
for
matter
you on your fictional Super Bowl. It doesn't go in your stadium. It doesn't
Yeah.
hang in a banner. It's not in your trophy case, but congrats to you.
Yeah, no matter who is playing for the Packers next year, Rodgers, Devontae, Smith, a whole bunch of, the list is very long of people who could or cannot be there. At least we know they're still going to be better than the Bears and more than likely the Vikings. And I'm not even going to mention the Lions. I don't have the time for that. Zach, hold your thoughts to yourself. But all right, before we continue, probably just discuss this game a bit and then potentially a bit the future past it. We need to continue to try to be keep the happiness going after laughing at the Bears. So we need an ad read by Mr. Zach Jacobson to lighten the mood over here.
I don't know if I have it in
It's gonna be
me,
like
Eli.
the show is sponsored by Arctic Ventures.
All right. All
Do
right,
your
fine.
best. Whatever you got in you, you got to let it out.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by Artec Ventures. The goal at Artec Ventures is to collaborate. I can't do it.
I know. You could just get through it. It's tough.
All right. Okay. All right. I got it. The goal at Artec Ventures is to collaborate closely with founders throughout all. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like the oomph.
Zach is
in
putting
my-
on such an act right now. Like, oh,
I'm
can't do
not-
it.
I'm
Like,
not putting on an act. No, I'm struggling here. I need to dig down and just God. The goal at Artec Ventures is to collaborate closely with founders throughout all the investment and fundraising stages, turning their visions into successful companies. Since 2020, the Packers have lost 2 playoff games at home. Since 2020, Artec Ventures has helped turn great ideas into
Zach.
profitable businesses that make an impact on industries, communities.
I feel like he's frozen. Oh, okay.
he definitely froze.
Because Zach, you always
We'll
pause
never know what comes
when you
after that.
froze.
And beyond.
Maybe. All right. Well,
I
it was
never
funny that
never
you
freeze.
froze.
I never freeze when I get
No,
to
you
I
that
mean,
point.
you did
did.
actually freeze,
You did freeze.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you did. It was
which my
funny.
mom
You
did
liked
think
it.
last week's was really funny. How it froze at the perfect time.
Oh, that was hilarious. We should have clipped that up.
You did clip
I
it up, didn't
did,
you?
Eli, and I
Wow.
sent it to you.
Oh yeah, you did. You did. I remember it now. You know my brain. It's not the best. Zach, yeah. As Andrew said, you kind of did hear the pain right there. It was, but you got
I
through it, which I respect.
But Jen said I was putting up a front. Yeah, my
like-
ass. I was trying.
Oh, I can't get through this, guys.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. Yeah. So, look, that guys, I mean, let's just put a wrap a little bit because I don't want to go the whole show just on the game because that's kind of sad, and we do have other things to talk about a bit. But overall, it's not going to make anyone feel better. But obviously, it was a great season. It was, I think, after the way the offseason went, and then week 1 went, for the next 17 weeks to go the way they did was very enjoyable. And again, it's really not going to help. But, you could look at the rest of the NFC North and say, you know what? Out of 18 weeks of the year, we had 13 very good ones. And it is what it is. Obviously, we want to see everyone back that we love in Green Bay next year, which brings me to my next point. And no point in speculating too much on this, but right now, your thoughts, Jen, at least going into the offseason on Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, some of the bigger, even Devondre Campbell, Rasul Douglas, Randall Cobb. I mean, what's just your general belief heading into next year? I know what we're hearing from LaFleur and from everyone else, it's not a rebuild. We're going to, he's the number one priority. We want to bring it all back. But deep down, what do you really feel going forward is the most likely outcome, I would say. And we all know it could change 1,000 times. But what are you feeling today?
I mean, I am honestly still pretty confident that Rodgers comes back. I know a lot of people very quickly kind of turned on him, don't want him back. They're like, see ya, I'd rather suck than, have Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't. Regardless of his off-field opinions, I guess I'll call them, he is still one of your best bets at being a winning team. Like, nobody knows this team better than him. He is, this is his team, and despite what some people say, you hear about his leadership and how important he is to be there, and I think that keeping him is very important, and if he's not there, I don't think he plays at all next year. I think that, obviously there was a lot of stuff that was said last year, but I don't think it was ever, I want to leave Green Bay. I think it was more, there's some things that need to be fixed, and those things, from what he has said, have been fixed. And now it's just a matter of figuring out how to get over the playoff hump and getting back to the Super Bowl. And winning is the goal every year. Like, I don't want to go into it, rebuild, when you have options to be a Super Bowl caliber team. And obviously there's going to be pieces missing, but people are going to have to deal with it if Rodgers comes back, because they want to win. They have unfinished business, and I know people might explode over it, but I really think it's the best option. And if Rodgers comes back, you can assume that means Tay is coming back, because it sounds likely he's still here. But if Rodgers goes, that changes a lot of things for someone like him, who he wants to win too. And if you start rebuilding, a top receiver like him is going to go find big money somewhere else. So I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done to get it done. But just the way that this year went, it's really hard to see Rodgers wanting to play somewhere else when he's talked about, he's got David Bakhtiari here, who's one of his best friends, and there's a lot around him. You could lose a lot of pieces, but you also trusted Goot to find important pieces off of practice squads and in free agency and stuff like that. You hope that they draft really well. There's still ways that you can fill voids of guys who may leave Green Bay this year, but there's also guys who are willing to take pay cuts to be here. I mean, Rasul made it sound like, just offer me the job and I'm here, because guys want to be here. They know that this is a place where you can go win a championship, and it is what it is. This year it sucked, and it sucked for the last few years, but there's a lot of guys who have that sour taste in their mouth, and they want to get over it. They want to be here. They want to go win that championship. They've built a family, and they want to, run it back again. And whatever, Last Dance Part 2, whatever you want to call it, I don't think that this is the time to rebuild. When you have such a high caliber team, you don't just dump all that off and, say, screw it, let's just try again in like 5 years when we can get our pieces back together. I think that, I like to win, me personally. And I know that, as a professional football team whose goal every year is to have the confetti pouring down on you, that's their goal too. Nobody goes into it hoping like, hey, maybe in 5 to 10 years we'll win. Like, no, that's not the Green Bay way. That's not how Titletown does it. They want to win every year. And I think bringing Aaron Rodgers back, if they can make it work, is the best way to do that.
Yeah. And Zach, before I go to you, but just to Jen's point, even if it's for a year, like we saw what the Rams did, who are about to play in the NFC Championship game. If you have even just 1 year where we're legitimate Super Bowl contenders, it's better than, in my opinion at least, it's better than a bunch of question marks about who knows, maybe we'll squeak into the playoffs, maybe we'll be an average team, and in a couple years we'll be competitive. But that's how I see it. Zach, how do you feel right now about it?
People acting like they don't want Aaron Rodgers back because, they're finally taking a stand. They've finally had enough of the playoff losses and him coming up short in the postseason. And I'd rather lose.
Liars.
Yeah, trust me, you would not rather fucking lose. You sit there and you make fun of the Bears and the Vikings and the Lions all goddamn day because you had the luxury of Aaron Rodgers and you don't know what happened in the 70s and the 80s and those dark times. Not saying I did. I'm not 50 years old, but I'm not naive either. And I understand how much of a luxury it is to watch what we've been able to watch for the last 3 decades. You go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and I can't fathom a scenario where the Packers willingly trade Aaron Rodgers, a guy that's back-to-back MVPs. Like it would be great, I feel like, because you're gonna get some crazy shit in return. You're gonna get multiple firsts, multiple seconds, some key ingredients for your roster, but I mean, back-to-back MVP. I know Jerry Cross blew up the 90s Bulls. I understand it.
Asshole, so.
Yeah, and he was itching for a rebuild, and I know he blew them all up after the 6th championship. I get it. Not to draw too many parallels to the Last Dance and everything, but I just can't see them doing that. I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers. You're in the mix every single year. Yeah. You're in the playoffs. Whether or not you come up short, I mean, that's different. The Patriots skewed everybody's perception of winning a Super Bowl and how difficult it is. When they're going to however the hell 9 Super Bowls, I think it was, they went to. When you're going to that many, you're at the top of the fucking mountain every single goddamn year. It makes people think that's easy. Why can't we do that? Why can't we replicate the Patriot way? Why can't we do those things? It is so difficult. It is so freaking difficult just to win, let alone reach the Super Bowl. Like, everything has to work in your favor. Literally everything. I don't know. I can't see the Packers moving forward without Aaron Rodgers. And I know the salary cap issues are, let me read that really quick. mentally pretzeling themselves. I like that. Yeah, the Packers have it so good right now, and I know there's going to be salary cap restrictions and, kind of like a little bit of a leash on what they can and can't do, but Matt LaFleur says they have a plan. I mean, I was kind of surprised when he said that, because I was like, oh, okay, well, what the hell is that plan going to be? We've seen the Saints end up in cap hell, and they've been there for like several years now.
Champagne's like, see ya. Good luck.
Yeah, he's like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here.
You can have Taysom Hill and his massive contract. I'm gonna go find employment somewhere else.
Yeah, and they've managed to make it work. They've still stayed, kept their heads above water. And I know March 16th is a very, very important day, because that's when the start of the new league year is, and that's when they need to be back under the cap. I don't know how the hell they're going to get there and fortify this roster, but like Jen said, there's so many ways nowadays, and there's so many players hungry for opportunities, and guys who just haven't gotten an opportunity yet, like Rasul Douglas. Well, actually, that's a lie. He had an opportunity in Philly, but an opportunity with the Cardinals, they didn't give him that. Yeah. He was on the practice squad. He wasn't, playing. Packers gave him that opportunity and he rose to the occasion. So there's ways to fortify your roster and plug these positional voids. And again, like Jen said, Brian Gutekunst did it once. He can do it again. You know, he has an eye for talent. He's a talent evaluator, and he has the right support system around him to help him do that. You know, he has his scouts. So they're not going to go into some kind of little mini rebuild or anything like that. I feel like when you have Aaron Rodgers, there's no wiggle room for a rebuild. It's impossible to do a rebuild when you have Aaron Rodgers. So, it's gonna be interesting. But I think ultimately he's back. He's back with the team. I think they figure out a way to get it done.
And people can be mad about the playoff stuff. I love Aaron Rodgers playing. I mean, like you said, Zach, 2 back-to-back MVP seasons. He's fun. I love having him on this team. Yeah, the playoffs sucked, which they normally do, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where I love watching him play football, and I love watching him play football for my team, and I'm not ready for him to not do that. So I'm going to hold on to any little bit of hope that I have, and if it all goes south, we have Kurt Benkert, and that's all that matters.
That is very true. But Jen, as you said, though, you know, the playoffs sucked, but
I was going to speak it in there at some point.
But for what is it now? I guess 18 other teams, and it used to be 20 other teams a year. The whole season sucked. You know, at the very least, we know, and Zach, as you said, Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, you are stamped into the playoffs, and then anything can happen, and who knows? And that's a big deal. And also the fact that, as you both said, back-to-back MVPs, like there was this question after 2018, 2019, is he going downhill? Is it maybe getting closer to the end? I don't think how could you even ask that question anymore? He's about to win his second MVP in a row, nearing age 40, and he's doing it at a super, super high level. So why they would ever be like, you know what, we're good. We're just going to move on and hope Jordan Love pans out or hope whoever it is pans out other than you. It's never going to really make sense to me when the guy's coming off his second straight MVP season. He's not going to just go boom downhill next year like some crazy thing, just out of nowhere. Like it's just not going to happen.
It's not like Cam Newton or Matt Ryan. Like,
yeah, I mean,
he's not a one and done MVP kind of guy.
Exactly. We all know who Aaron Rodgers is, and as Zach said, and as whoever brought up the mentally pretzel pocket, you can convince yourself, because yes, it is frustrating. There's no doubt that it's been frustrating for the last decade to watch us lose in the playoffs year after year after year. But everyone knows that the reason we're even in the playoffs, the reason we've been in so many NFC Championship games is because of Aaron Rodgers. And for the most part, anytime the Packers have lost in the playoffs, it is not because of Aaron Rodgers. It is 9 out of 10 times because of the defense or because of some wacky shit that went on. And that's not to say that Rodgers hasn't had an off game or two in the playoffs. He's a person. He's human. It's going to happen. But for anyone trying to convince themselves, and I've seen it all over Twitter, please, move on. It's time for the rebuild. No, it's not. Why would anyone want to rebuild when you have a Hall of Fame back-to-back MVP quarterback right now on your roster, and you can make it work? And as you both brought up, Goody, he's damn good at his job. He can make things work. Russ Ball is damn good at his job. And Ian Rappaport said it himself a couple, 3 days ago, that the Packers, we have a lot. Yes, we're not going to get every single piece back that we had this year. That's just factual. But we are not in a position that a rebuild is fully needed. He kept using the term reload. And so you lose some pieces, but you can bring in other pieces. Devondre Campbell and Rasul Douglas were 2 of the biggest pieces of this entire team. And I don't know, have their whole list right now, but they were damn near the bottom in terms of what it cost for them to be on the team. And then you have a draft class coming in, another free agency happening. So bottom line is, if they go with the plan that we heard about a month or 2 ago, that Devontae Adams is likely to be franchise tagged, and if that does happen, assuming they don't get a long-term deal done, which I don't think will happen. So even if he's just tagged, you have Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, you're already stamped into the playoffs and already one of the best teams in the NFL. And then, you got to make some money, things work. You got to restructure some contracts. You'll lose a couple people. Some guys will take some pay cuts. But to go and sit here right now and say, you know what, ship everyone off and let's just start over. To me, that's never going to make sense when you have a proven product right now on the field. And again, we're coming off back-to-back MVPs. So anyone who's trying to convince themselves, like, I feel like it's more people trying to like mentally prepare themselves. Like, you know what, if I tweet it that I don't care if Aaron Rodgers leaves, then I'm going to feel much better if he leaves. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. No one's going to feel
like that. What is it Russell Westbrook, like the eating popcorn, like pretending to be it? Like it's gonna be like a lot of that, just like, oh, I wanted Aaron Rodgers gone. I was ready to, you know, like I'd rather go 0-17 than have him on my team. And they're gonna be like, you know, he's gonna come back, win a third consecutive MVP, and they're gonna be sitting there like, oh no, I'm
exactly
big fan.
These motherfuckers that talk about a rebuild have no idea what the hell they're saying. They don't know what a rebuild entails.
Yeah.
You reconstruct your roster, cut ties with everybody, and find different ways to supplement those depleted positions. You are either back to competing for a wild card spot, 2 to 4 years if it goes well, or it all goes bad. It goes south, and you're stuck in the dark ages for decades.
Which is why it makes sense why Rodgers said that's not something he wants to be a part of.
Yeah.
Right.
Which a lot of people took in a very sour way, but it's like that would basically be saying we're giving up on you and your career, and like why would you, if you're going to rebuild, why would you keep him around? You know, if it just wouldn't make sense. So, and a lot of people like Vikings fans were asking me, they're like, wow, like, you know, him in that presser after the game, it's like 10 minutes after losing, you know, you're not going to the NFC Championship game, your Super Bowl run is over. I don't think anybody would like look like they enjoyed whatever is going on. Like nobody looks happy. Everybody looks miserable in those pressers. You can't take all of it to heart. Like Rodgers is a very calculated guy. So obviously you can kind of to some degree maybe speculate, but at the same time it's like you're asking him about his future like 10 minutes after the season ended. Like, I wouldn't be too happy either. Like, if I got fired and people are asking me 10 minutes later, all right, where are you going to work next week? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, you kind of think, like, he's still a person and you're asking him a lot of loaded questions, like, and he's still trying to process what just happened, like, the season is over. So, I don't know. You can't take those kinds of things too much to heart, but, you know, it also is Rodgers, so you can't completely brush it under the table.
Yeah, but people are dying to make statements about his mood and his energy in the post-game press conference, literally minutes after his season ending. Like any human being, no one's going to be pleased. No one's going to sit down in the chair with a big smile on their face talking about the future. No one wants to think about it. You just want to get home. He probably went home, poured himself a fat glass of scotch, and got in bed and just wanted to be left alone in silence. And also, I mean, like today I posted a video on Twitter of his reaction to Mason Crosby's game-winning field goal versus the Niners back in week 3. And I would say at least 75% of the comments or retweets on that were saying, where was that energy on Saturday night? When it's literally a video, a 10-second clip of the moment you just won a crazy-ass game after a 37-second drive to come back and kick a 50-plus yard field goal to win the game, and then you're asking, where was that energy in middle of a playoff game that was extremely close? Like people right now, maybe, but people right now are really, I mean, it's simple. There are people right now who are just on the anti-Aaron Rodgers train, and they will say and do whatever it is to mentally convince themselves that that is the best thing for the team. But wait until you're potentially 4-9 deep into October, November, and you're going to be wishing Aaron Rodgers was there.
I think people are a mixture of frustrated and just kind of fed up, and at the same time, they're also kind of eager to see what Jordan Love could be, which I understand. I want to see what Jordan Love could be too. I want to see, hey, maybe is this guy actually the successor? Is this going to be another 15 to 20 years of fantastic quarterback play? Who knows? But the time right now isn't the time to find out.
Yeah.
You know, when you got the back-to-back MVP, you're coming off of a second consecutive season where you're the number 1 seed. I mean, I don't think the time for to find out what Jordan Love is right now. I think you still have Aaron Rodgers, and he's still playing at a high level, and he hasn't like showed. That's the thing. He hasn't shown signs of decline, and you kind of mentioned it earlier. But he's playing in an offense now that's kind of prolonging his career. Like, yeah, he's 38. I don't blame him for not wanting to be part of a rebuild at all. But he's playing in an offense now that's meant to prolong his career and make those easy options accessible to him. The underneath stuff that we were talking about that he passed up in the San Francisco game, and he reverted back to playing hero ball. Just the things where get the ball out of his hands quickly, and you don't notice these weaknesses at right tackle. You don't notice Dennis Kelly giving up 5 pressures in a game to Nick Bosa. You don't notice those things because he gets the ball out of his hands quickly. He needs to buy back into the offense and play within the structure of the offense if he's going to continue, playing, if he does want to come back and play. I feel like at this point, the two options that are on the table right now, he either comes back and plays for the Packers or he retires. I don't see them trading him. Yeah, it's either you play for us or you don't play for anybody at all. Because he's still under contract. So I think those are the two options that are on the table right now, but I think he comes back.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. And also beyond the fact that from the Packers side, where they're just, wow, you're not going to trade him. Why would you? Even if you have to be a dick about it, you're not going to trade him. But also, he said so much though. He's talked so much about how much he loves Green Bay. He loves the fans. He loves the city. And also, he in the past when he brought up, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. 2 years. That's rough. But
thanks, Eli.
But I know I didn't mean to do that to you, Zach. But
I'm not smiling about that.
I didn't mean to. Yeah, but no, that's what he said though. Those are the 3 names he brought up. Where staying with one franchise means something, and at this point in your career, where are you going to go? Like you said before, the grass is the grass is greener where you water it, right? Where is he going to go right now? And also, a big part of it, at least in my opinion, any team that trades for him, whether it's just picks or also pieces already on the roster, he's not going to go into a better situation than he currently is. Obviously, that's assuming Devontae Adams is back, but lose everyone today, obviously, like Nathaniel Hackett getting the job in Denver, number one, congratulations. It sucks to see you go, but I'm happy for him. But everyone's like, I saw it trending on Twitter, Rodgers and Adams to Denver. Number one, that's for sure ridiculous because they're not both going to Denver. That's insane. But also, the people are just, Nathaniel Hackett went to Denver, so obviously that's where Aaron Rodgers is going to go. Because him and Nathaniel Hackett are like completely in love with each other. No, they could be. There's plenty of people. Like, he might love Nathaniel Hackett. There's a lot more people in Green Bay than he loves than just one person in Nathaniel Hackett who's now in Denver. Okay, and let's not act. Even if Denver just traded, fuck it. Even if Denver didn't trade anyone, drop Aaron Rodgers today on the Denver Broncos. I don't see them being any more of a Super Bowl contender than he would be with the Packers today, especially in a division where he has to deal with the Chiefs and a Chargers team who's rising and all that. So let's not, for everyone on Twitter and anywhere else where everyone's saying, Nathaniel Hackett's in Denver, so that's obviously where Aaron Rodgers is going to end up. That's a ridiculous narrative to me personally. I don't know if you guys feel differently.
That's just people wanting to solidify their predictions from last year. Now it's going to happen. I've been saying it for a year now. Now Hackett's there, so of course it's going to happen. He doesn't want to be part of a rebuild, and that's basically what's going to have to happen in Denver because they are a struggling team right now. So that's a team that, might need to get gutted. And why Aaron Rodgers would go somewhere where they're kind of halfway through a rebuild already, I don't know. It just wouldn't make any sense. So I don't know what it is with everybody wants Rodgers in Denver. I don't see it happening, but I'm just chick in my parents' basement. So what do I know?
We can paint all these reasons for why it would be stupid for him to leave the NFC North and why, going to the AFC West and having to see Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, twice each a year, why that would be crazy. But at the same time, Aaron Rodgers is he's an enigma. We have no idea what that man is thinking. We have no idea what kind of different challenge he craves, or, at this point in his career, or, maybe Denver is a good situation for him living wise. We have no idea. We have no idea what he's thinking. It would be crazy, and it would be totally unforeseen if he is traded to Denver. I feel like it's just kind of like porn for people at this point. It's not gonna. the whole Mark Schlereth thing happened last year on draft day, and Aaron Rodgers is upset with the Packers, and he's in such a different spot with the organization right now than he was 9 months ago, last April. So that would be crazy unless they come to some kind of mutual decision. We're like, hey, you trade me to Denver, they're going to trade this back, and we just kind of just mutually part ways. Maybe like he's even mentioned this. He's in a conversation. I mean, he's in a position right now with management, with team brass, where he can have those kinds of conversations, where he can discuss retirement, discuss coming back, and there would be no animosity, nothing crazy. But I don't know if it's even feasible at this point. I mean, like Jen said too. Now that they got Nathaniel Hackett, now everything's just gonna amplify. It's just gonna get 10 times worse the next few months. So. Hopefully this doesn't drag on too long.
Yeah, well, what's nice is that he did say on the McAfee show is that, he kind of put that franchise tag deadline. He said he wouldn't give a date, but as soon as kind of Devontae's situation is figured out, put it this way, it seems like by the end of February, we'll probably have a decision. And he said he for sure would not put it past free agency. Because quote unquote, it would be disrespectful to the organization, which, it's obviously a big relief to know we're not going to be in for what last summer was with all the uncertainty and all the questions. So we'll know by the absolute latest free agency, but I think even before then we'll know. And as you both said, I am very much in belief that it's either he plays in Green Bay or he retires. I don't see a scenario forget Denver, the whole NFL where he gets traded and knowing what he's going to be traded for, that he could walk into a situation that's a team that's Super Bowl ready. And he said himself, he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. You don't want to be a part of a rebuild. You stay in Green Bay. And even if that means just for one more year and Devontae gets franchise tagged, and then who knows what happens after that year. But it's about winning another Super Bowl. And if it just means you only have 1 year of guaranteed of you and Devontae and David Bakhtiari and you have Aaron Jones on the roster and AJ Dillon and all these guys, then you go and you take that guaranteed, I know this team could win a Super Bowl this year. Then you know what? I'm going to go to another team where I know no one, where I know nothing about what it could be. That team is going to trade away a shit ton of assets, both in the draft and on the roster, to get you, and then hope to piece it together. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But we could speculate about Aaron Rodgers and everyone else's future forever. We're just going to have to wait and see how all that goes. But guys, any final words to cap off this season? Obviously, for everyone watching, this will not be the end of the open book season. We're not going anywhere, but Packers season wise, Jen, anything? Zach, either of you got anything?
Until the end of the Super Bowl, I am an honorary Bengals fan, rooting for Joe Burrows. I wanted Bills-Bengals AFC Championship so damn bad.
Let's not
1 point flip away from getting it, but
Sure.
At this point, I'm kind of just curious who you guys want to see now that, our beloved Packers won't be in the Final Four. Do you guys have a Super Bowl matchup you're really hoping for? Or I know I'm Bengals-Rams is who I would love to see. I think that would be a fun shootout, and I have a lot of fun with Joe Burrows, so I hope they win it all. But do you guys have different opinions, or
I'm the same.
do you guys even care? Maybe
I just don't want to see the Chiefs. I want.
Okay,
it was
too.
good. It was good seeing the Buccaneers get knocked out because I want like a different matchup.
It's funny. My mom even said this. Like, I don't even know like how much pain she goes through with the Packers, but she's like, you know what? Just seeing Tom Brady kind of made it so much better on me, which I feel kind of bad because her dad, my grandpa, he loves Rodgers. He loves Brady. That's what he wanted. Neither made it, so unfortunate for him. But no, at this point, I'm just anyone but Chiefs. Like, even 49ers, what is it? Like, we lose to a team that goes and wins the Super Bowl, whatever. Like,
that's fine. At least then you can say, like, we lost to the champs.
Just irritate the living hell out of me. I can't do it. I don't want to.
Yeah, I do think the most entertaining would be the Bengals Rams. Like, it would be different, and they're both good offenses, some good defenses. I think it would be a high scoring game and a different kind of game. So that's what I would like to see. And that's, that would be fun for me.
Yeah, I want to see the Bengals make it. I feel like they're just a really likable team. There's no Vontez Burfict there anymore, so I actually they're easy to root for. And um, ever since Zach Kruse made that comparison to like the early 2010s, late 2000s Packer teams, the early Aaron Rodgers teams, the stable of receivers, the young ascending quarterback. Ever since he made that comparison, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ride with the Bengals.
After Joe Burrows beats the Chiefs, I'm excited to see how fat that cigar is that he's smoking in the locker room.
It's gonna be a fat one, that's for sure. But no, I agree. I do think they are very similar to that 2009 through 2011-ish kind of Packers, where the ascending quarterback, a bunch of good receivers. I mean, they have a better running back. Well, the Packers, no. I mean, we lost Ryan Grant here, won the Super Bowl, but yeah, Joe Mixon. But yeah, Bengals Rams would be my pick.
And I don't have anything else to add really now that the season's over. Not to sound too much like Aaron Rodgers or anything, but I'm grateful for the journey and being able to do this with you guys every single week, and it was fun week in and week out. And it was about the moments, we enjoyed the season. We enjoyed every single week, some of the crazy things that happened, the great plays, and the downfalls, losing guys to COVID, starting Jordan Love at Arrowhead. I mean, there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened, and we got to come on here and talk about it with everyone that watches, with each other, with Jacob. With Andrew sitting back there in the background.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna be so mad that you thought he was Jacob.
A rough mix-up.
I'm sorry, Andrew.
I don't know who's gonna be more mad for that comparison, Jacob or Andrew.
That's true.
This is the end of Open Book. Zach probably is gonna get fired after that.
But yeah, that's really that.
Yeah, Zach. Yeah, I definitely echo that same sentiment. Where, doing this every week with the both of you was definitely a highlight of this season over the last few months. And as much as it sucks to be where we are right now, it definitely helps knowing that every single week we're still going to be here. And as I said before, and I'll say again right now, the Packers season may be over. Open book season is not over. So we will continue going, and we will let you know if that were to change at any point, but I don't see that changing at any point soon. So again, I appreciate both of you a ton, and this season was a lot of fun being on this show with the both of you. And
yes,
guys,
North Packers fan.
Yeah,
lots of prayers to Jacob and his family. I know.
Yes, we love you, Jacob.
Love you, Jacob.
Jacob is a phenomenal leader here at Game On, and he's got a lot of good people in his corner right now. So wish him all the best. And he is still here. Very nice.
No way. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting him to still be here. That's crazy. I thought he hated us.
Love you, Jacob.
Yeah, all the love to the Westendorf family. And I think that's a good place to close out this extra long episode.
Yeah, so everyone who's here tonight and been here throughout the whole season, we thank you so much for tuning in every week. We're looking forward to bringing you great content this offseason leading up to free agency and the draft and all that. And it's going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of good stuff, a lot of more Zach ad reads, of course. That's going to be probably the best part of the next couple months. But until we see you next week, and what should be our regularly scheduled Wednesday nights this week was different. So Thursday night, whoever shifted their schedule to come watch here on Thursday night, we appreciate it. But next week should be back to Wednesdays. But until then, as you see at the bottom of the screen, follow Game On Wisconsin at Game On WI on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube at Game On Wisconsin. Make sure to give our wonderful producer, Andrew, a follow on Twitter at Mertens_Andrew. You can find Jen and all of her wonderful meme creations at BigMac_4. Anyone who's interested in hockey.
I was going to say, going to be a lot of hockey now. This is where I'll probably lose like 5,000 followers, but
we all know whatever the guy Zegstra. So you posted about some goal earlier. Zigdras. I love a good Zigdras.
Who plays for I think Zach's former Ducks. Now that he's an honorary Wolves fan.
Correct.
Yeah.
Chicago Wolves.
Chicago Wolves, baby. But you can follow Zach on Twitter at Zachariah. I lost myself there. But
wait. I like this.
No, no, that's okay. That's okay. No, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, let's end the show. Let's get the hell out of here.
Let's just go. But yeah, and then lastly, you can find me at @bookofeli_NFL. Yeah, soon enough, I'll be back to posting my daily Aaron Rodgers clips because that's just not stopping. So people deal with it. And real quick, before we head out, I know you guys want this open book merch. So I'm going to throw this up and I don't know. Oh, here we go.
I'm so upset. Mine's coming tomorrow. It
Yeah.
got delayed a day, so I couldn't have it for I was like, oh, we're doing the show Thursday. I'll have it in time. And then,
It's pretty rude.
it just
Well, I'm
wasn't
happy
good enough.
to be
So next week.
open book. And if you want your own, here it is. And I'm going to throw the link up. But yeah, I mean, you're going to go to, there we go. Still have yet to figure out the exact pronunciation to this word, but just Campeche Collective. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Open book and the whole Game on Wisconsin website, all the shows. You can get all the merch right there. Everyone, again, thank you for tuning in all year long. It was a great season, and it's going to be a fun offseason. An offseason that I predict we're going to see Aaron Rodgers come back, Devontae Adams come back.
Guys, these bets are.
Yeah, it's getting a bit much.
I like these bets.
But again, we will see you all next week. Don't forget, we're not done just yet. And yeah, just try to enjoy the next few weeks of football. And we will see you soon, everybody. Go Pack, go.
What you think, Fred? All right.
Fred.
Like, dude, you're an idiot.
I'm doing very well, Jen. Is it just going to be me and you or Eli and Zach going to pop in?
Yeah, they'll talk every once in a while.
Every now and then we'll kind of.
He was already right away.
It kind of well, we're used to you attacking us, so
Yeah.
Sorry.
look at.
Let's just put it this way. Who do you see